Welcome to Dreamy Tales, a place where gentle, relaxing stories will guide you into a deep sleep. On this channel, we'll be sharing soothing stories to help you unwind and forget the worries of the day. If you enjoy these peaceful moments, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you won't miss any of our bedtime tales. Let's create a space of relaxation together each night. Now, before we dive into tonight's story, let's take a few moments to relax your body and mind. Find a comfortable spot to sit or lie down. Gently close your eyes and take a deep breath. Inhale slowly, feeling the fresh air filling your lungs, and slowly exhale, letting the tension in your body gradually melt away. Repeat this 3 more times. With each breath, feel yourself becoming more relaxed and ready to enter the magical world of stories. Now, loosen your shoulders, gently massage your face, and release any remaining tension. Pay attention to any areas in your body that still feel tight, maybe in your neck, back, or legs, and gently let them relax. Next, we'll do a short guided visualization. Imagine yourself in a beautiful garden under the night sky, with the soft moonlight shining down. You can hear the rustling of leaves in the breeze, the sound of water flowing gently in the distance. Feel the cool breeze brushing against your face. Now that your body and mind are relaxed, let's step into tonight's story. But before we begin, remind yourself that you deserve these moments of relaxation, and let go of all worries as you listen to each word. And now, as you are fully relaxed, let's begin our journey into tonight's tale. Allow my words to guide you into a world of dreams and serenity. Relax and listen slowly. Imagine you're drifting through the vastness of space, your mind as light as a feather, your worries melting away like stars fading into dawn. Let's embark on a journey together, a cosmic adventure to a new planet, a place where your soul can breathe, where anxiety slips away and sleep feels like a gentle embrace. Close your eyes for a moment, or keep them open to soak in the words, and let me guide you to a world that's waiting just for you. We begin with a soft hum, the kind you might hear if you were aboard a starship gliding through the velvet dark. Our story centers on someone just like you, someone who's been carrying the weight of the world, or maybe a few worlds, on their shoulders. Her name is Elara, a dreamer with eyes that sparkle like twin nebulas, and a heart that beats to the rhythm of the unknown. Elara isn't a hero in the way you might think. No grand titles, no shining armor. She's a stargazer, a quiet soul who finds solace in the patterns of constellations and the whispers of distant galaxies. But there's something about her, a flicker of courage that glows brighter when the universe calls. Elara lives on a small, bustling space station called Lumora, a floating city of glass and light that orbits a dying star. Lumora is alive with the hum of engines, the chatter of traders, and the glow of holographic signs that paint the air with promises of adventure. It's a place where everyone is always moving, always chasing something, credits, fame, or just a reason to keep going. But Elara, she's different. She spends her nights on the observation deck, her breath fogging the glass as she stares out at the cosmos, wondering if there's a place out there that feels like home. A place where the noise in her mind quiets, where she can just be. Now, Let me paint you a picture of Lumora, because it's not just any space station. Imagine a giant orb, its surface a mosaic of crystal domes that catch the starlight and scatter it like 1,000 tiny rainbows. Inside, there are markets where vendors sell glowing fruits from distant worlds, their scents sweet and tangy, mingling with the metallic tang of machinery. There are gardens, too, floating in zero-gravity bubbles, where flowers bloom in colors you can't name. Colors that seem to hum with life. And the people, oh, they're a tapestry of stories. Mechanics with oil-stained hands, poets reciting verses to the rhythm of the station's pulse, and children chasing drones that dart like fireflies. It's beautiful, chaotic, and overwhelming, all at once. But for Elara, Lumora is a paradox. It's her home, yet it feels like a cage. Her days are spent repairing navigation panels, her fingers deftly weaving through circuits while her mind wanders to places she's never seen. She loves her family, her younger brother, Kian, who's all mischief and laughter, and her mother, Mira, whose warm hugs feel like the only anchor in a sea of stars. Yet, there's a restlessness in Elara's chest, a quiet ache that grows each night as she gazes at the horizon of space. She dreams of a planet she's never visited, a place she's only seen in fragments, vivid, fleeting visions of sapphire oceans, forests that glow under twin moons, and skies that shimmer with auroras. She doesn't know if this planet is real or just her heart's way of coping with the chaos of Lumora, but it calls to her, soft and insistent, like a lullaby she can't ignore. One evening, as Elara sits cross-legged on the observation deck, her sketchbook open to a drawing of that dream planet, something extraordinary happens. The station's scanners, usually a dull hum in the background, begin to sing. Not the usual mechanical drone, but a melody, low, haunting, and strangely familiar. Elara's heart skips a beat. She presses her hand to the glass, her breath catching as the scanners project a holographic map into the air. There, at the edge of the charted galaxy, is a blinking dot, a tiny beacon pulsing in time with the melody. The coordinates match no known world, but the signal carries a signature, a frequency that feels alive, like a heartbeat from the stars. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter? Why does a blip on a map make Elara's eyes light up like they've never done before? Because, my friend, this isn't just a signal. It's a promise. Elara has spent her life feeling like she's waiting for something bigger than Lumora, bigger than herself. And this signal, it's the universe whispering back, saying, "Come find me." But here's the catch. Answering that call means leaving everything she knows, her family, her routines, the safety of the station's walls. It's a leap into the unknown, and even a dreamer like Elara feels the weight of that choice. As she stares at the hologram, Kian bounds onto the deck, his messy hair bouncing as he skids to a stop. "Elara, what's that?" he asks, his voice all excitement and no caution. He's only 12, but his curiosity could fill a galaxy. Elara hesitates, then smiles, pulling him close. "It's a song, Kian," she says softly. "A song from somewhere far away." Kian's eyes widen, and he presses his nose to the glass, as if he could see the source of the signal if he just looked hard enough. "Are we gonna find it?" he asks, and there's such hope in his voice that Elara feels her heart tug. That night, Elara can't sleep. She lies in her bunk, the hum of Lumora's engines a familiar lullaby, but her mind is racing. The signal replays in her head, its melody weaving through her thoughts like a thread. She thinks of her mother, Mira, who always told her stories of explorers who charted new worlds, their courage lighting the way for others. She thinks of Kian, who believes in her like she's already a hero. And she thinks of that planet from her dreams, its oceans and moons calling her name. What if this signal is the key? What if it's her chance to find not just a new world, but a new version of herself? The next morning, Elara makes her way to the station's archives, a dusty corner of Lumora where ancient star charts and logs are stored. The archivist, an old man named Torin with a laugh like rolling thunder, greets her with a knowing smile. "Heard the signal, did you?" he says, his eyes twinkling. Elara nods, her cheeks flushing. Torin pulls up a dusty console and begins cross-referencing the signal's frequency. As the data loads, he tells her tales of lost worlds. Planets hidden in nebulae, their surfaces alive with wonders no one's seen in centuries. "The universe is full of secrets, Elara," he says, "but it only shares them with those brave enough to listen." The console beeps and Torin's smile widens. The signal's origin lies in the Veil Nebula, a swirling cloud of gas and light at the galaxy's edge. It's uncharted territory, a place where ships vanish and stories turn to legend. But the data also shows something else, a faint trace of organic compounds, the kind that suggest life. Elara's pulse quickens. This isn't just a planet, it's a possibility. A world that could hold answers, not just for her, but for all of Lumora. As Elara leaves the archives, her mind is a whirlwind. She knows what she wants, to chase the signal, to find this planet, to see if it's the home she's been dreaming of. But the path ahead is daunting. She'll need a ship, a crew, and the courage to leave her family behind. And there's something else, a whisper of doubt. What if the signal is a trap, a cosmic lure leading to nothing but darkness? Yet, as she steps back into the bustling heart of Lumora, the melody of the signal hums in her chest, and she knows she can't ignore it. Let's pause here for a moment, just you and me. Can you feel Elara's heartbeat, the way it dances between fear and hope? Maybe you know that feeling, the pull of something new, something unknown, tugging at you even as the familiar holds you close. Elara's story is just beginning, and as we drift toward the next part of our journey, I want you to hold on to that sense of wonder. The universe is vast, but it's also kind, and it's waiting to share its secrets with you. Now, let's slip back into the story, like stepping into a warm, starlit dream. Elara's decision to chase the signal isn't not made in a single moment. It's a slow burn, a spark that grows into a flame as she navigates the challenges of Lumora and the doubts in her own heart. She spends the next few days in a quiet frenzy, her hands busy with repairs while her mind maps out the impossible. A ship, a crew, a plan. Each piece feels like a puzzle from a different galaxy, but Elara's nothing if not stubborn. Her first stop is the hangar bay, a cavernous space where ships of every shape and size are docked, their hulls gleaming under the station's lights. She's looking for the Stellar Wren, a small, weathered scout ship that's been gathering dust since its last pilot retired. The Wren isn't much to look at. Its paint is chipped, its engines wheeze like an old man. But Elara knows it's reliable. She's fixed its circuits 100 times, whispering to it like a friend. As she runs her hand along its hull, she feels a pang of affection. "You and me, Wren," she murmurs. "We're gonna see the stars." But a ship is only the beginning. Elara needs a crew, and that's where things get tricky. Lumora's full of skilled pilots and navigators, but most of them are loyal to the station's trade guilds, and a trip to the Veil Nebula isn't exactly a paid gig. She starts by talking to Kian, who's already half convinced he's coming along. "I am your co-pilot," he declares, brandishing a toy blaster. Elara laughs, ruffling his hair, but her smile fades when she thinks of leaving him behind. Kian's too young for this, and Mira would never forgive her. Instead, Elara turns to an old friend, a mechanic named Soren with a grin that could charm a meteor. Soren's the kind of person who can fix anything. Engines, hearts, even bad days. He's been Elara's confidant since they were kids, sneaking into the hangar to tinker with broken drones. When she tells him about the signal, his eyes light up. "A mystery planet? Count me in," he says, wiping grease from his hands. "But you owe me a story when we get back." Elara grins, relief flooding her. With Soren on board, the Wren might actually make it. Next, she recruits Lila, a navigator with a knack for reading star charts like their poetry. Lila's quiet, her voice barely above a whisper, but her mind is a galaxy of its own. She spent years mapping the edges of known space, and the Veil Nebula is her kind of challenge. "It's not just a signal," Lila says, her fingers tracing the holographic map. "It's a conversation. Something out there wants to be found." Her words send a shiver down Elara's spine, but it's the good kind. The kind that makes you feel alive. With her crew assembled, Elara faces her biggest hurdle, telling her family. She finds Mira in the garden dome, tending to a cluster of glowing lilies. The air is thick with the scent of earth and starlight, and for a moment, Elara feels like a child again, safe in her mother's orbit. She takes a deep breath and spills everything: the signal, the planet, the Wren. Mira listens, her hands still in the soil, her face unreadable. When Elara finishes, there's a long silence, heavy but not unkind. "You've always had one foot in the stars," Mira says finally, her voice soft but steady. "I knew this day would come." She pulls Elara into a hug, and it's warm, fierce, the kind of hug that says everything words can't. "Just promise me you'll come back," Mira whispers. Elara nods, her throat tight. She doesn't tell her mother about the doubts, the fear that she might not find what she's looking for, or that she might find something she's not ready for. The night before the Wren launches, Elara and Kian sneak onto the observation deck one last time. The station is quiet, the stars outside brighter than ever. Kian slips his hand into hers, his fingers small but strong. "You're gonna find it, right?" he asks. "The planet from your dreams?" Elara looks at him, at the hope in his eyes, and feels her own hope flare brighter. "I'm gonna try," she says, and for the first time, she believes it. The launch is a blur of checklists and nervous laughter. Soren cracks jokes to keep the mood light, while Lila triple checks the coordinates. Elara sits in the pilot seat, her hands steady on the controls, the signal's melody looping in her head. As the wren detaches from Lumora, the station shrinks behind them, a glowing orb against the endless black. Elara feels a pang of homesickness, but it's drowned out by the thrill of the unknown. The veil, Nebula, awaits, a shimmering curtain of light and mystery, and the wren dives toward it like a bird chasing the wind. The journey isn't smooth. The nebula is a maze of gas clouds and electromagnetic storms, and the wren groans under the strain. Soren's in the engine room, cursing and coaxing the ship to keep going, while Lila navigates by instinct as much as by charts. Elara keeps the crew focused, but inside, she's wrestling with her own fears. What if the signal was a fluke? What if the planet doesn't exist? But then, just as doubt threatens to overwhelm her, the wren breaks through the nebula's core, and there it is, the planet. It's more beautiful than Elara's dreams. Twin moons cast a silver glow over sapphire oceans, their waves glittering like liquid starlight. Forests of bioluminescent trees pulse with soft greens and blues, their branches swaying in a breeze Elara can almost feel. The sky is a canvas of auroras, ribbons of color dancing in patterns that feel like music. The signal's melody grows louder, clearer, resonating in Elara's chest like a second heartbeat. This is it, the place she's been searching for. As the wren descends, the crew is silent, awestruck. The planet's surface is alive with wonders. Crystalline cliffs that hum when the wind touches them, rivers that glow like molten gold, and strange, delicate creatures that drift through the air like living lanterns. Elara steps onto the soil, her boots sinking into moss that feels softer than any bed. She closes her eyes, letting the planet's song wash over her, and for the first time in years, her mind is quiet. No anxiety, no restlessness, just peace. But peace, as you know, is never the end of a story. As Elara and her crew explore, they find traces of an ancient civilization, ruins carved with symbols that pulse with the same frequency as the signal. Lila deciphers enough to know this planet was once a beacon, a sanctuary for travelers lost in the cosmos. But something happened, something that left the planet empty, its creators gone. The signal wasn't not just a call, it was a warning, a plea for someone to finish what was started. Elara feels a new weight settle on her shoulders, but it's different this time. It's not fear or doubt, it's purpose. She looks at Soren, who's already sketching the ruins, and Lila, who's mapping the planet's energy fields. They're with her, and that's enough. As night falls, the crew gathers around a campfire, the planet's moons casting shadows that dance like old friends. They talk, they laugh, they dream of what comes next. Elara tells stories of Lumora, of Kian's antics and Mira's lilies, and the planet listens, its song weaving through her words. Let's take a breath here, just for a moment. Can you see it? The firelight flickering, the moons overhead, Elara's voice carrying across the alien night. This planet isn't not just a place. It's a feeling, a reminder that even in the vastness of space, you can find a home. But the story's not over yet. There's a mystery to unravel, a purpose to fulfill, and Elara's just getting started. As we drift into the final part of our journey, imagine yourself sitting by that campfire, the planet's song in your ears. Elara's found her world, but what does it mean? What happens when the signal's purpose is revealed? Let's find out together. The days on the planet, Elara calls it Silvara, a name that feels right, pass in a blur of discovery. The crew sets up a base camp near the ruins, a cluster of domed tents that glow softly under the auroras. Soren turns the camp into a home, rigging up lights and a makeshift kitchen where he experiments with local plants. Most are edible. One makes him sneeze sparks. Lila buries herself in the ruins, her quiet voice humming as she decodes the symbols. Elara explores, her sketchbook filling with drawings of Silvara's wonders. Trees that sing when you touch them. Creatures that mirror your emotions with bursts of color. But the signal's mystery looms large. The ruins suggest Silvara was a hub, a place where travelers from across the galaxy came to share knowledge, to heal, to find peace. The signal was their way of calling others, a beacon for the lost. But something disrupted it. A cataclysm, maybe, or a betrayal. The symbols speak of a heart, a source of the planet's energy, hidden deep beneath the surface. If Elara can find it, she might understand why Silvara called to her, and why it's calling still. The search for the heart isn't easy. Silvara is alive, its terrain shifting like a living thing. Rivers change course overnight, forests rearrange themselves, and the creatures, those glowing lanterns, seem to guide or mislead depending on their mood. Elara learns to trust her instincts, to listen to the planet's song. It's not just a melody now, it's a language, and she's starting to understand it. Soren jokes that she's gone native, but there's awe in his voice. Lila, ever practical, maps the patterns, finding paths where none should exist. One night, as the crew follows a trail of glowing moss, they stumble into a cavern. Its walls are alive with crystals, each one pulsing with the signal's frequency. At the center is a sphere, no bigger than a child's ball, floating in a column of light. This is it, the heart of Silvara. Elara approaches, her breath shallow, and as her fingers brush the sphere, the planet's song floods her mind. She sees flashes of the past, travelers laughing, sharing stories, their faces lit by the same auroras. She sees the cataclysm, a shadow that tore the heart from its place, silencing the signal until now. And she sees herself, standing here, chosen not by chance but by her own longing, her own courage. The heart isn't not just a power source, it's a promise. It can restart Silvara's beacon, call others to this place of healing. But it needs a keeper, someone to stay, to tend the planet's wounds. Elara feels the weight of that choice. She thinks of Lumora, of Kian's laughter, Mira's hugs. She thinks of the wren waiting to carry her home. And she thinks of Silvara, this world that's given her peace, that's shown her she's enough. In the end, Elara makes her choice. She places the heart back in its cradle, and Silvara comes alive. The ruins glow, the signal sings louder, reaching across the galaxy. But Elara doesn't stay. She's not ready to leave her family, her home, forever. Instead, she promises to return, to bring others to Silvara, to share its gift. The planet understands. Its song softens, a lullaby of gratitude. The wren lifts off, Silvara's moon's waving goodbye. Soren's already planning upgrades for the ship, Lila's charting new routes, and Elara? She's sketching, her heart full. She knows she'll see Silvara again, but for now she's heading home. To Lumora, to her family, to the stars that will always call her name. As the wren slips into the nebula, Elara looks back one last time. Silvara glows, a beacon in the dark, and she smiles. The universe is vast, but it's not empty. It's full of stories, of homes, of hearts waiting to be found. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find yours too. There we are, back in the quiet of space, the stars winking like old friends. How do you feel? A little lighter, maybe. A closer to your own dreams. Elara's story is a reminder that the journey matters as much as the destination, that courage and love can light even the darkest paths. So, tonight, as you drift towards sleep, let Silvara's song carry you. Let it remind you that you're part of something bigger, something beautiful. Rest well, my friend, and dream of the stars.